Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? What's going on, everybody, man? Thank y'all for tuning in to another DnL&x Fitness live stream show. Yes, sir. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. We got a good show lined up for you. Hopefully, you're having a good day at work and all that other good stuff. Hopefully, you're having a good day, not a bad day. But if you're having a bad day, we're going to let Mr. Child break it down to you.
You're having a bad day? Did you die? You got shot. But did you die?
And as long as you didn't get shot, let me turn my sound down. As long as you didn't get shot or you ain't a dead, you still alive and you're able to make something happen, get out and get out and get something, and keep focusing, keep grinding, keep working, and make the best out of your situation. And don't ever give up. Keep pushing and keep grinding. Let's go. We are multi-streaming on multiple different. I had to pull this thing forward. This thing is off a little bit. We are multi-streaming on multiple different platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and Facebook. If you're on YouTube, do your boy a favor. When you see that thumbs up that pops up on the screen, hit that live button, hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Get the algorithm out and all that good stuff. Get people in here. And also, if you want to contribute to today's show, Cash App and Venmo, Cash App Daniel2888, Venmo Danny-Daniel-00. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into today's show that we have. I'm a little bit late on this show. I mean, this topic. I've been meaning to touch up on it a little bit recently, but I had some fixing stuff on my live streaming because some stuff was messing up. So I had to get everything good and right and all that good stuff. Let me make sure I got the right sound thing on because you probably can't hear my sounds. Let me see. Let me fix this again. Here we go. Is this right? There we go. That's better. I think you can hear my sounds. Let me just double check it to make sure. I think y'all can hear my sounds. Do I got my stuff up? Let me see. And make sure I got this right before I keep pushing forward because I mess around and mess up my whole show. Let me see. Let me fix this. Did I get it right? Yeah, there we go. So we good. So anyway, we're going to jump into this Andrew Tate who got arrested, who had a situation that just happened. Him and his brother got arrested on some charges that ain't looking too shabby. Let's just call a spade, bro. Charges ain't looking too shabby. I think they trumped up like 50 something more charges. I mean, good Lord. That's a lot. They trumped up a bunch more charges. And I mean, I don't know, bro. This ain't looking too good. These folks gonna be in it for the long run. I can only imagine because they just got out of a situation. They got out. They just got through dealing with that first court situation, which they had them on house arrest and had them locked up for months on end and all this stuff going on. And they didn't have any alleged, they had no evidence and everything going on like that, but they had him in there for a minute. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that they was running their pockets dry, took all their vehicles and stuff, and then they got their vehicles back and all this stuff, but just not after the fact that, they, took a lot from them in that process. But now they gotten grabbed over here in the US and is allegedly they might be getting extradited back to the UK. I'm not sure after how that works out because you keep getting conflicted stories of course, social media. 1 minute saying Trump's gonna let them get extradited. Another one says Marco Rubio holds the final say to it, and just back and forth. And you don't know who to believe or what's to believe or what's true. You don't know. You're just gonna have to sit back and watch it play out. But what we'll do is we'll dive into this topic because I came across a couple of things. Also looking at the video to show the arrest video of them getting arrested. And then looking into a few other things that I came across about his father and things of that nature. And when you dive in deeper into the situation, it kind of makes you wonder, how is this just like, let's just say he does have a huge impact on the younger generation. He does have a very strong speaking voice. I will say that he's really good at speaking. Him talking, his speeches that he gives, he's very good at conveying his point across and having a good speech voice. Like, he has a great speech voice and conveying a message and getting his point across. He's really good at that. You can't deny that. You can't say that he's not good at it. He is. He's really good at it. Unfortunately, the charges that they got these dudes up on is atrocious, and it seems like they want to keep him or to get his mouth shut and keep him quiet and all this stuff from the first wave. But we're gonna look into a bunch of different things to see exactly how this situation pans out and how it could work out, how it couldn't work out. We don't know, but it does seem like that they have a price on their back. It seems like they must have pissed off somebody in some high places, and they're doing everything they can to get at these dudes. And I mean, it's sad. It's crazy to see, but at the same time, there's also been ways where he's spoken up and said some things about dealing with alleged girls around the ages of like 15 and stuff like that, which that is a huge no-no. So that's not good. So therefore, you know, if that's what you were doing, then the chickens are going to come home to roost. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, how things are going to pan out and how things are going to play out. And they had their case in Romania, and I guess they're trying to get them extradited to UK. UK is a little bit different when it comes to how they do you. UK will hold you in there for a good while, probably until they feel like, you know, probably they'll hold you in there indefinitely until they feel like doing what they want to do with you. And I feel like that's why they tried to come over here to the U.S. to kind of get a fair trial, although they are U.S. citizens, which is one thing. But he did admit that he ran to Romania because there was more stuff he can get away with, and the laws are way more lenient. He can, you know, do more Romania. Because remember, he was bragging in Romania when he was there, bragging on how it's a lot more laxed over there with stuff he could get away with and things that he could do. And the Romanian government's not as strict as other ones, but then he ended up getting locked up in Romania. And, you know, that turned out to be the complete polar opposite. It turned into a huge shit show. So we're going to go ahead and just take a look at this. So first, we're going to start off with this right here. So first thing we got here is this. Tate brothers arrested in the U.S. as further UK charges take total to 59 charges, bro. 59 additional charges. And this is on top of the prior cases that they have, because they do have a case in Romania. They have a case in the UK. And they had a civil case in the United States, in California, I believe. So, I mean, every time you look up, these fools is always dealing with some kind of court cases. And it's all behind females. All of it is behind females. That's the crazy part I want you to pay attention to. All of this is behind vagina. All of it. This whole thing. All vagina. It's crazy. So let's go ahead and read into this. So it says that controversial influencers Tate and his brother Tristan have been arrested, or Andrew and his brother Tristan Tate have been arrested in the U.S. after British authorities issued 38 new charges against the pair. UK's Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, said Andrew was being charged with 7 further counts of rape, as well as charges relating to sex trafficking and indecent images of a child. Oh no, that's not looking good at all. Tristan's charges include 2 counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. So the total number of charges against both of them are now 59, the police said. Alleged offending is said to have taken place between July 2010 and August 2017. Golly. This has taken place between 2010 and 2017. And the Tates have denied any wrongdoing. This was in 2010, 2017? Whew-wee. God, so why didn't they hit him with these charges the first time? Which is the question, because they had him in Romania at the beginning. So why didn't him? Well, that's the funny thing, you know, because they were in the UK at first, and I think they went from UK to Romania, if I'm not mistaken. So they might have known that they had did some dirt in UK and went to Romania to get away from the UK and the charges that they were dealing with back there. And they sat in Romania and chilled in Romania. So they probably knew this was a situation that was going to unravel at some point. They did everything in their power to stay out of Romania. I mean, to stay out of the UK. And that's why they went to Romania. I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but it's just my assumption. I would assume that that's what they were doing, because they already had them in Romania on charges. So you figure the UK. But the thing is, they still have an open case in Romania. So my thing is, if you got an open case in one place, don't they have to, I believe they have to wait. You know what I mean? Like, this case has to be done, then you can move to the next one, then you can move to the next one. So that's going to be a lot of freaking money if they go through all those different processes and hit you with the one in Romania, then hit you with another one here, then hit you with another one here. That's going to be brutal. So, sheesh, because they got cases in each place. So, man, that's going to be bad. The alleged offending is said to have taken place between 2010 and 20. Okay, so following their arrest, prosecutors will begin legal proceedings to extradite the brothers, who are dual British and U.S. citizens, to the UK, and CPS said. Okay, so they're dual citizens. So they're British U.S. citizens. So they're British and U.S. citizens. Okay. These charging decisions followed receipt of a further file of evidence from Bedfordshire Police bringing the total number of alleged victims in the case to 7 victims. And the Breshire and Hertfordshire police have been investigating a number of offenses. It is now called a complex investigation. As a result, 38 new charges were authorized against the brothers, meaning Andrew got 39. Andrew, who is 39, faces a total of 42 charges in the UK, and Tristan, who is 37, faces 17. The U.S. Marshals confirmed to the BBC that Tate has been taken into custody, while the U.S. Department of Justice spokesperson said the arrests were pursuant to extradition proceedings. Ooh-wee. A lawyer who represents the Tate said the world knows Andrew and Tristan are innocent in a statement released after their arrest on Saturday evening. Your lawyer better say that. Their enemies know it best of all. They know exactly why they have been attacked and described the new UK charges as a political hit. He said the new charges were designed to counter a defamation action filed by the brothers in the U.S. We are confident that once a competent judge sees the facts and once the DOJ confronts this egregious abuse of its own authority, Andrew and Tristan Tate will walk free. America does not do Britain's political dirty work, he continued. Okay, so just go through all this. Alrighty, so as you can see, that's what's going on. That's the situation that's happening. So they did get arrested and all this stuff that went down. Let me see if we can look at a little bit more real quick. And I said, no, we already read that. So this happened in Miami, Florida. So it just happened in Miami, Florida about 4 days ago on the 18th. And they were trying to fight extradition to the UK. And I don't know, they might be heading to the UK. And I don't think the UK plays fair ball like the US does. I think the US is innocent until proven guilty. I think the UK is guilty until further notice, which is like it's very unfortunate. Like I said, they were there first. They were in the British first. They were in the UK first. And then they went to Romania. Then they decided to come to the US for whatever reason that was. You know what I mean? Showing their faces in the US and taking trips to Miami and all that stuff. And I don't know, man. You over taking trips and well-known a public figure and coming into different places. Now, this is one thing I found pretty odd. All right, so all this is behind females and girls or whatever you want to call it. And I was looking into something, and let me see if I can find it. I was looking into something, and these dudes that I found on social media had actually made a pretty interesting point. And when I looked at this, I was like, I never knew about this part. Speaking on their father, because the father, the mama's white, the dad is black. And I didn't, and they speak on their father a lot, and they speak very positive and heavily on their father and say great things about him. But then some of these, there was a group of dudes on social media who talked about the dad in particular. And in particular, when they brought up the father, they spoke on who he was exactly, and not just an avid chess player, as everybody knows. He's a grandmaster chess player. So that must mean that you must be an outstanding, extraordinarily chess player. But they also went into deeper context, speaking that he was a Air Force sergeant and a part of the CIA, which I was not aware of, knowing that their father was part of the CIA and Air Force an Air Force sergeant. So let's take a look at what these dudes talk about, and then we'll also look and see for ourselves. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video right here and see what these gentlemen have to say about it. So here we go. Let's check this out.
His father, Amory Andrew Tate Jr., was a chess master. He was a U.S. Air Force sergeant, an accomplished linguist, and widely reported to have worked for the CIA.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
That part. That's what gets me. So, like, when we know all the stuff we know in our conspiracy world, right? You see that, you automatically think psyop. You automatically think plant. Like, who's to say that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate weren't bred in some kind of weird experiment to explode the manosphere? I'm dying on the hill, bro, of that, because the whole Epstein file thing where they're breeding people, that shit solidified the way I think forever, bro.
Right.
I 100% think that island is breeding people to throw into our civilization to continue to push an agenda that a normal person wouldn't want to push.
Finding out Andrew Tate's dad was a linguist that worked for the CIA,
a grandmaster in chess. You know how smart you got to be in fucking chess, dude? Like,
An operation that the CIA is known for is Operation Mockingbird, right? And it's where they reportedly recruited journalists and influenced major U.S. and foreign media outlets to shape public opinion and disseminate propaganda during the Cold War. This included planting stories, suppressing unfavorable coverage, and using media assets as eyes and ears.
And see, when you hear that right there, especially that last part where they mentioned Operation Mockingbird, how they just broke that down and said what it was. That is literally sound like their lifestyle and what they're going through right now at this moment. So I thought that was rather interesting to sit here and see and find out that their father was a CIA, a former CIA person. And to dive into deep, we can go ahead and look exactly. I think I had it pulled up right here. Where is it? I just had it pulled up. God dang it. Where is it? Is this it? No, I'm too far. Where are you? Here it is right here. I went and pulled them up because I wanted to see exactly like if this was true or not, because I wasn't sure. You just take somebody's word for it. And of course, my source is going to be Wikipedia, but whatever. So we're going to take a look at this and going to see exactly if, you know, some of this holds up any weight to see exactly if this is true or whatnot. I could have dove deeper, but I just want to, you know, scratch the surface and see. So see right here, it shows that here's his father, Emory Andrew Tate Jr. There he is right there. He was an international master chess player who he won the United States Armed Forces Chess Championship 5 times and Indiana State Championship 6 times over his career. He recorded a roughly 80 tournament wins against Grand Masters. Okay. He earned a reputation as one of the most feared tacticians on the American tournament circuit. Grandmaster Maurice Ashley described him as a trailblazer for African American chess. Okay, cool. And then look here. Just pay attention to this. I want you to pay attention to this because this is what got me. I had to look into this from a different angle because I saw other people cut videos on the Tates about this particular situation. But when I looked into this, I was like, this is crazy. This is really wild. Watch this. Before devoting himself to chess professionally, he served in the U.S. Air Force. He worked as a linguist and was fluent in Russian and Spanish. He reached peak FIDE or FIDE rating of 2413 in 2006 and received the International Master title in 2007. He was inducted into the Indiana Class State Hall of Fame. His father was an internet person, and he is the father of internet personalities Tate and Tristan. Okay, he died from a heart attack while playing chess in California. He was born in Chicago. We don't want all that. His military service was right here. He was a sergeant in the U.S. Armed Forces, where he excelled as a linguist, eventually operating as a linguist for the CIA, where he learned Russian. To me, that's the big one. He was discharged from the U.S. Air Force after he was diagnosed with several psychiatric conditions that interfere with military service, including narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, I found that interesting. He excelled as a linguistic. He was a linguist for the CIA, and he learned Russian. So he's a CIA. And he learned Russians. And then he was discharged for narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. Let me see if I can find this dude. I'm going to have to do this quickly because I don't want to take up time. I should have had this prepared already, but I forgot about this.
And if I die, make sure you kill.
Okay, cool, whatever. Let me see. Let me see. Is it this one? Where's this dude at? I gotta find this dude. This guy right here. I don't know if this is the exact video that I want, but this is somebody that I would like to use because he speaks on, you know, the CIA and how they move. So here's this guy right here. I forget his name. What is your name? Oh, I can't find his name, but you've probably seen this person before. This guy right here. He's an ex-CIA person or maybe a current CIA person. No, I'll say ex-CIA person. Now, let's listen to, he says this, he speaks on sleeper cells. He says sleeper cells are trained and planted for spying. want you to pay attention to this, okay? Listen to what he has to say. This may be the one I'm looking for, but let's just hear him out what he has to say a little bit about this. And this guy spoke on sleeper cells and how sleeper cells are planted in countries, or how they raise people to be sleeper cells and things of that nature, which is very interesting because especially when he's former CIA and the Tate's father was a former CIA linguist and spoke Russian and Spanish. But listen to this.
Don't have we Americans don't have no other country that we know of uses sleeper agents. A sleeper agent is someone who is taken virtually from birth and trained to be of another nationality. For example, let's say you're born in Russia, and from the age of 2, they take you from your family with your family's acquiescence, and they take you to an American-style town that they've built out in the hinterland in Russia. And they teach you to speak English with an American accent. You watch American TV shows, you watch American movies, you eat American food, you get an American-style education. So I have no idea that you're not American. You speak English just like I do. You know all the same social references that I make. You follow the Philadelphia Eagles, or...
Okay, so I want you to just understand what he's saying right there. He's saying this is a CIA tactic. This is just something that they do. And, their father was fluent in, certain languages, and he has 2 sons who rose to prominence. And they came out of nowhere, to be quite honest. And it was crazy was that even Candace Owen had knew these people way before they were big on the internet. And let me see if I don't know if I have that still on the thing. Let me see if I can find that as well. But it's interesting on how you can tie in how these people, or these 2 dudes, came into prominence, but they have this backstory, this history that intertwines in with everything. You know what I mean? It's like everything winds in, everything kind of intertwines in with all the people that's already in place of what's going on. And it's really interesting that it's like in a weird sense, they have alphabet people or government ties in a way. It's weird. It's really weird when you look at it. And let me see. Here's another thing. Let me see. Here it is right here.
CIA.
So here's the same dude. I think the same dude. He looks like him. He might be him when he was a little bit younger. This is a officer. Maybe it's the same dude, I think, but he's a previous officer. And I remember when we just looked at the Emory Tate thing, he was discharged from the CIA for having, what was it? This right here. He was discharged for having narcissist personality disorder because it interfered with military service. So he was discharged from the Air Force because he was diagnosed with several psychiatric conditions. Okay, cool. But then listen to what he says. Okay, listen to what this guy says right here. This is a former CIA officer, and he admits the agency actively recruits people with narcissistic and sociopathic traits. Listen to this. Listen.
CIA actively seeks to hire people who have sociopathic tendencies, not sociopaths.
That's fascinating to me.
It works. It works for them. Sociopaths are impossible to control. They slip through the cracks because they have no conscience, and they pass the polygraph very easily because they don't feel guilty about anything at all. And they tend to rise to the highest levels of the CIA. People who have sociopathic tendencies do have a conscience, but are still perfectly happy to work in moral, legal, and ethical gray areas. A guy that I worked for, a very senior CIA officer that I worked for, told me that he had 5 recruitments over the course of a 30-year career. And he said he remembered every detail of those 5 recruitments. I was fortunate in that I had 5 recruitments in 4 years. It was because we were fighting multiple wars. I was in poor countries where it's easier to recruit somebody because money goes so much farther.
People are more vulnerable.
More vulnerable. And 95% are going to do it for the money. Another like 4% are going to do it for revenge. And 1% is going to do it for patriotism. They watch those Tom Clancy movies and, you know, they want a piece of the action. You dummy up an award, you make a fake award, and you put a gold seal on it, and you sign the CIA director's name, and you frame it, and then you take it to one of the meetings and you say, listen, headquarters gave you this award. You can't keep it because you're undercover. One guy started crying when I gave him the fake award. God bless you. God bless you. God bless America. I was like, yeah, God bless America. Now, what about the plans for that Russian tank you were talking about?
So you admittedly have
Okay, so as we see here,
Hire people who
they clearly hire people who have sociopathic tendencies and narcissistic tendencies, or narcissistic and has sociopathic traits. This is already a known thing. And to say right here that he was a linguistic for the CIA, his father was, he was discharged, which depends on what kind of discharge he was, but it said that it interfered with his military service, including narcissistic personality disorder. But I mean, I guess you could say that wasn't for the CIA. That was for the Air Force. And probably he got out the Air Force and went into the CIA because he had narcissistic personality disorder. So it worked out good for him in that manner. So maybe those two things work together, you know what I mean? Hand in hand. So when you look at these things and you notice that if the CIA, if the Tate's father, Emory, worked for the CIA, and we just looked in and found out that like a sleeper cell agent from a CIA person could put a person from a family and train them up to be something that they want them to be. And they'll use this thing to control like a narrative of what they want to control. You kind of get what I'm saying? They use it to control a narrative of what they want to control. For example, back to what these two dudes were saying right here. When this guy broke down Operation Mockingbird, whenever we talked about this, listen to how he broke it down.
Person wouldn't want to push.
Finding out Andrew Tate's dad was a linguist that worked for the CIA.
A grandmaster in chess. You know how smart you got to be in fucking chess, dude? Like,
an operation that the CIA is known for is Operation Mockingbird, right? And it's where they reportedly recruited journalists and influenced major U.S. and foreign media outlets to shape public opinion and disseminate propaganda during the Cold War. This included planting stories, suppressing unfavorable coverage, and using media assets as eyes and ears. Come on, bro.
So it's not hard to kind of, in a sense, see that. I mean, could it be possible that the Tate brothers could be a plant to be used? Now, we do have further things going on with Tate, which is that, of course, she has these charges, these allegations or whatever that's held against him, right? And then also he always speaks about people always trying to bribe him for money or trying to shut him up, which we'll listen to him say. But he always says that somebody's trying to shut him up or trying to like make sure that he doesn't talk or speak, you know, try to give him hush money to not say anything or whatever the case may be. And my question is, when he says these things, my question is, who is provided? Who was trying to give you all this hush money to get you quiet and to shut you up? Who? Like, what is it? Who is trying to quiet you down? Who is trying to quiet you down, but not just quiet you down? They're trying to hand you money. And he's been saying this for like years at this point, that people have tried to give him millions of dollars to be quiet or shut up, or to take their side and to, you know, spew out their propaganda, their message, because he does have a very powerful influence. He has a good speaking voice. He can control a crowd. He can convey a message. He's really good at it. You can't take that away from him. Let me see here if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find the one where we're talking about. Right here.
Well, right. They have for mental
How much money could they pay?
Here we go, right here. So this is the one that I had found, and they had looked at they looked at him and Elon Musk, and they tried to say, like, look at the difference between the two, or look at the similarities, I should say, between the two. They did Elon first, which I'm gonna skip over that one. They're gonna show the one with Tate talking to, I think his kid name is Jack Neal, and he's gonna ask him some questions at an interview. Listen to this, and then listen to what Tate says when he responds to people trying to shut him up, or what would it take to shut him up. Listen to this.
Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience. How much money could they pay you to shut up?
Some men don't want money, Jack. They just want to watch the world burn. And the world which I want to burn is this piece of shit, corrupt, scumbag, misandric, fucking shithole that we've built in these liberal democracies. Every single element of this, the whole story I've told, is corrupt, head to toe, all of it. All because I told young men to go to the gym. I don't want money. If they want me to go away, I want a minister for men's rights in government. I want all these girls who make fake Me Too accusations to go to jail. I want men to be treated like people. I want fair, equal treatment. That's it. We talk about feminism and how women need equal rights. They have more rights than us in every single metric and regard. More men commit suicide. More men fucking go to jail. Men have the worst lives. We build the roads, we build the buildings, we die in ditches. A woman can lie about us, destroy our life at random. I'm tired of it. No. I've been through all of this shit because I was sticking up for men in the beginning, and that's the only way it's going to end. When they put in a minister for men's rights, and when they start jailing women for false accusations against men, en masse, because most of them are false, when they stop weaponizing the judicial system against men who simply want to see their own children, when they drop all this bullshit where men are getting completely wrecked in divorce court, in custody court, when they drop all that shit, if they were to come to me with a proposal to drop all that shit, I'd shut up. But if they don't, it is important, and it is bigger than me, that I put her on the stand, just like Johnny Depp did with Amber Heard, and expose the fucking lies these women tell and the corruption of the system behind them. So my mission's bigger than me. So I don't need the money. I have money. 50 million doesn't change my life, as they found out 48 hours ago. But I know that they are getting desperate.
Okay. So as you see here, he's been offered money to get him quiet, 50 million. He said this plenty of times before. He said this 2 and 3 and 4 years ago when he got locked up last time, or however long ago it was. He had mentioned all this stuff going on. But when you look at the ties that his father had, especially when you see that he served in military, well, he was discharged. And then he was discharged because of what interfered with the service, but he had narcissistic personality disorder, something like that. Then you find out that the CIA tells you that they hire people with narcissistic and sociopathic traits, and then to find out that his father was a CIA linguistic and spoke Russian, right? And you would, and as a father, you're probably going to pass down your skills to your kids. You know what I mean? You're going to pass down skills to your kids, whether they be good or they be bad. That is up for a man to decide for himself and what he looks at the world at in his eyes and how he chooses to view things and move forward. Now, clearly, like I said, he's good at conveying a message. Doesn't change the fact that you can find older video footages of him speaking and saying some egregious things that he's done to women, and seeing videos of things that he's done to women or younger girls like 15 and stuff like that. He's spoken on himself. There's even video footage of seeing him allegedly him and this girl was role playing or whatever, and the girl had came out and mentioned that the video that they had did, they were role playing. It was agreement of them role playing. It was like some aggressive role play or whatever. He was spanking her and stuff like that, and talking aggressive to her. Can't show it because it's kind of weird, to be honest with you. But then when you find out that she was like 15 in the video, because she ended up saying it, somebody asked her, hey, how old are you? And people did the math on the video and how old she is and found out that in the video, she possibly was 15 when the video happened. And you see other things that he's done with women, or maybe girls of 15 and you know, some of the girls might be 16 and 17, but over where he's at in the UK, I believe the age of consent over there is 16. You use the UK age of consent. What is the UK age of consent? The UK is 16, regardless of sex, but that rises to 18 if the sexual relationship is with an adult in a position of trust, such as a teacher, social worker, sports coach, or doctor. So it's 16. But he came out talking about dealing with girls that are like 15 and maybe even 14, but I don't want to put 14 on them, but 15 for sure. And this is him saying these things. So when you see him having a very good way of speaking, but it's crazy because at the same time, it's like, you make very good points. You do. You make good points. You have a great speech, but at the same time, you also talk about this other spectrum, or you also have spoken out and done things on this other spectrum here where it's like, bruh, you know, that's a crime. You can't do those things. Like, that's not gonna work. You know, you're over here messing with girls that are under the legal age of consent, but at the same time, you're making very good points as to dismantling a political system, but you're threading that, you know, that gray area line where people are willing to look the other way for the betterment of this, but at the same time, you know, on the back end, you still have this side about you that like enjoys younger girls. You know what I mean? But then when you see that his father allegedly had a narcissistic disorder or whatever you want to call it, and then he worked for the CIA, who hires people with sociopathic and narcissistic traits, it's easy to see that he could be hired for those things. Now, when you dive deeper into it, it's kind of crazy to show you how deep it goes, because when you just hear what he spoke about, right? When you hear what he spoke about, how he wants to change things and false allegations and for men to be better and the men do better, to be treated fairly and not have to, you know, stop shitting on men and men to be treated fairly, and how these women are able to do this and get away with murder and be able to have false allegations on men without facing any kind of jail time or anything like that, or to make everything fair and stop feminism. When you hear him saying that, it all sounds good. However, all of his things that he has dealing with comes from dealing with, you know what? Let's look up all the stuff that he's dealing with. Let's see right here. Says I think I have a list right here that shows the list of charges against the Tate brothers, along with some of the crypto scams that they promoted. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. This might be a long read. So here we go right here. So it shows that the U.S. Marshals arrested them on British extradition warrant. Somehow people are still defending these men. Let's see. They stopped being about offensive podcasts a long time ago. Here's the record. So in the UK, the Crown Prosecution Service now wants both brothers extradited over a combined of 59 criminal charges involving 7 alleged victims. Now remember, they were in Romania. They was in a Romanian prison for months in like solitary confinement. They had them behind bars. They took away the cars. I think they took away their homes too. Took away all these things, had them in there, and then they got nothing. I think they postponed or whatever they were able to do. They stalled the court case and got a bunch of their stuff back, but I don't think that they beat the Romanian case, though. I think the trial they haven't had a trial yet in Romania. So I think the thing is still going on, if I'm not mistaken. They were just held indefinitely. Okay, so we know this because I already read this to you. The additional alleged charges occurred around 2010 to 2017. Okay, Romania, here we go. So in Romania, they were indicted in 2023 over allegations that they formed a organized criminal group and trafficked women for sexual exploitation. See, so that's where it started. It really started with the first one, but this is the one that got him in Romania. Andrew was charged with rape, and then prosecutors said the alleged victims were recruited through false promises of relationships before being controlled and forced to produce pornographic material. December 2024, a Romanian appeals court returned to that case to prosecutors because of procedural and evidentiary defects. So the Tate supporters constantly described this as an acquittal. It was not an acquittal. The court did not find them innocent. It found that the prosecution file could not proceed to trial in its existing form. So it was not acquitted. They just realized that they can't lead forward to trial to do prosecution with the way everything was handled. A broader Romanian investigation involving the brothers and several other suspects has examined alleged participation in an organized criminal group, human trafficking, and trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor, and money laundering. So you see, you got all this going on here. Okay? Just pay attention. You have all this going on. In May 2026, the prosecutors expanded the investigation into Tate to include alleged incitement to hatred or discrimination against women. So probably like stuff that he just said with the feminist stuff based on public statements made between 2021 and 2024. The Romanian reporting on a further DICOT expansion in July 2026 also described allegations involving witness influence and removal of assets from seizures and complicitly in trafficking minors. These investigations remain ongoing and have not produced final convictions. So therefore, in Romania, he still has an ongoing procedure to deal with. He still has an ongoing court case to deal with over here. Okay? Then in the United States, come on, go down. Then in the United States, the Miami arrest was not a newly announced American prosecution for sexual offenses. The marshals arrested the brothers on behalf of Britain so that the extradition proceedings can begin. So he probably knew that they were coming for him for those 2010, 2017 things. Because then it seems like when he went to Romania here, according to what they have here, he somewhat was doing the same thing. But let's keep going. So Florida opened its criminal investigation after the interstate 2025. The Florida Attorney General announced that subpoenas and search warrants had to be issued, although it could not find no publicly announced Florida indictment as of July 2026. Tate is also being sued in California. Here's the other one, by a former girlfriend who alleges that he sexually assaulted her, beat and strangled her at a Beverly Hills hotel. That is a civil case, not a criminal conviction, and Tate denies the allegations. I remember this one, and if you look at this one, I think the broad is lying. I think she lying. If I remember this happened, I was like, God dang, again? But when you see this one, I think this one here, I think she lying on this one. This one here, I'm like, like I remember seeing this one. I was like, nah, she's lying for sure. Somebody paid her some money to dumb up some charges. This one is, I'm gonna say this is a lie. Whatever woman said this one, which I remember when this happened, I was like, nah, that one I can't vibe with that one. That one, Now these other ones, the ones that happen in the UK, and you see them old videos and hear him talking about being with 15-year-old girls and all these other crazy things and talk. He shot himself in the foot on those. It's like, bruh, that's on you. You're on tape saying things and all sorts of craziness. So that's another one. But this one in California, that one she lying. That's what I think. Then he had a crypto one. This crypto one, it was documented promotional pattern, is exactly the kind of influencer-driven extraction Web3 has spent years pretending not to recognize. So then on one day, his S-Daddy, which is a coin, approximately 40% of the supply was transferred to Andrew Tate's public wallet. He promised not to sell it and later promoted a supposed burn worth more than 100 million. Although the token reportedly had only around 2.5 million in real liquidity. 11 wallets funded through Binance that purchased large positions immediately before Tate publicly promoted the token. The wallets bought at nearly identical times and in similar amounts strongly suggested coordinated control. Two further clusters accumulated roughly 10% of the supply before promotion. The token developer had extracted more than 400,000 through sales. Other promotions included, S-Rent or Dollar Rent, Dollar Jur, Dollar Germany, Dollar Ruse, Dollar F Tristan, Dollar Top G, Dollar Sluts, and Dollar Tate, all rugged. So they rug pulled them all. A connected wallet cluster controlled around 30% of the Dollar GER before it fell roughly 99%. Dollar Ruse collapsed by more than 90, and its treasury was later compromised. The Dollar F Tristan, and then the Top G, and then the S Rent, and then the Dollar Daddy also suffered losses exceeding 90% from their peaks. So they just rug pulled every single last one of those. The Dollar Sluts appeared around one of Tate's viral posts with almost no credible project information, no transparent team. During the live stream, Tate demonstrated that he merely mentioning or mocking a token could cause speculators to flood into it. Around 2 million was poured into coins treated around this comments about a journalist within hours, with vastly large numbers or large sums moved through other tokens associated with his post. Now, Tate himself wrote that having the power to pump almost any coin was super fun. The people buying the top were apparently expected to enjoy the lesson. I do remember he was talking hot shit doing. I do remember this. He was talking cash. He was talking hot stuff about pumping up these coins, and people buying at the top were expected to enjoy the lesson. Like, I do remember him saying something similar to that, him pumping up coins and rug pulling them and telling people he was doing it. So then Tate sold it, and so in July 2026, he sold an entire allocation of roughly 650 million S-Tate tokens for about 23,000 after previously presenting himself as a committed holder. It was simply another perfect demonstration of how influencer conviction works once somebody else has supplied the liquidity. Here we are only talking about meme coins. The whole thing goes much further, but let's leave it there for now. So here's all the convictions and all the stuff like this, as you see right here. So here's all of it going on. Basically just everything that I read. All right, so you have all that right there. Now I look at this now. I look at it from this perspective. He's getting all these different, all these like basically like pimping. That's really what it is. A lot of pimping charges and stuff like that. Trafficking of women, cryptocurrency scams. And this also shows you how they do track all the cryptocurrency stuff, and they are tracking it, and with somebody who has a very extensive, how do I say it? A very extensive genius about himself when it comes to doing all this. Because you got to give him credit, regardless if you don't like him or not. You got to give him credit. He has a very extensive genius about how he's doing all this with this team of people doing all this. And now the government or whoever's going after him is watching him, going after him, fighting him, combating him, charging him, trying to convict him of these things. So therefore, and later on down the line, if anybody else of less caliber tries to do something, they've already dealt with somebody who was already like way above, you know, or way at the top of their game, doing better than whatever that somebody else is going to try to do in the future. You know what I mean? So it's almost like a practice run dealing with this dude in a sense, because then you notice that he has the background of CIA in his father. You know what I mean? He has that background of CIA in his father, and apparently they called him a narcissistic, what was it? He had a narcissistic personality disorder is what he was diagnosed with. So he has that in him, and he's, you know, able to utilize that, but to be in the position that he's able to be in, you know what I mean? He's able to be in these positions, and it's like, well, how do you get to these positions? How do you get to these positions? Which is weird, because, you know, not everybody can get into these positions. Let me see if I can find the one with, well, whatchamacallit. Where is it? Let me see if I can find the one with Candace Owens, because it was one that he had with Candace Owens. I was like, bruh, here it is. So here's this right here. This shows you how far back this goes, okay? This shows you how far back this goes, and it makes you wonder, and it makes you think. As we're watching this Andrew Tate situation, and we know watching him get arrested, which I'll show you the arrest video here in a minute, but I'm pretty sure everybody's already seen it, but I'll show it here in a minute. This is going to show you like a history of how far he goes back, and to like how he like rose to prominence, but within the people that are in like the social media realm and that are like big names in the social media world, or like the live stream world, whatever you want to call it. it just makes you wonder. It's like, are we just watching a big stage play? Was he put here for a particular reason? Is he put here like, what was that thing called that them dudes said? Operation, what the hell was it called? Was it Mockingbird? Let me see. Operation Mockingbird. I think that's what it was. I think that's what the guy called it. Not the book. I don't want the book. Operation Mockingbird. Yeah, exactly. Operation Mockingbird is what they called it, which was this right here. This article is about an alleged CIA program to influence the press for the CIA wiretapping operation. So you have the Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the U.S. CIA that began in early years of Cold War and attempted to manipulate domestic American news media organizations for propaganda purposes. According to the author, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. CIA support of front groups was exposed in 1967. And then it received funding from the CIA. The NSA received funding from the CIA. And in 1975, the Church Committee of Congressional Investigations revealed the agency connected with journalists and civic groups. So in 73, a document referred to as the Family Jewels was published by CIA containing references to different operations named Project Mockingbird, which was the name of the operation in 63, which had wiretaps and all this different stuff going on. They published an article based on classified material. The document does not contain references to Operation Mockingbird. So it shows you here that this was something that they had did in the past to control, news medias and news outlets and stuff like that. Okay. So it's kind of weird that you're sitting here and you're watching this dude and he's all over the news. He's all over on social media. You know what I mean? And then he has the same family ties to the same alphabet group that did this in the past. I mean, allegedly did this in the past, that manipulated domestic American news and media organizations for propaganda purposes. In the same way how these dudes said. I'll let them say it again. They basically broke down and said, like, it's not far-fetched to see that he could be somebody that was put in the plant a long time ago and brought them up to put them into society, to stir up this whole manosphere, this whole, feminist manosphere thing going on, and then push for an agenda. So use him as like a martyr or something. But the whole time the martyr is their martyr, but you feel like the martyr's yours. But it's not. It was a plant. Like you start to see everything and you look and you're like, well, damn, this shit runs deep. You know what I mean? Like it runs deep. Now, let me go back to what I was going to show you a second ago. So let me go back to Candace. So here we go. So go back to Candace Owens. And let's take a look at this right here. She says, Candace Owens admitted she was warned about Tate from her husband's friends that Tate was a pimp back in 2019 and proceeded to defend and lie about his criminal cases. That's who Candace Owens is. That's what somebody said. Not me saying this. That's what this says. Let me actually show you right here so you don't think it's me talking. This is what somebody put up here. So this is it right here. So I just read that to you. Let's go ahead and watch this video and let's just see how far back this goes. So just pay attention. Here we go.
To me for a lot of reasons. The first is because of how I met Andrew Tate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a very long time.
Very long time.
Actually, I met you downstairs at the Ritz.
Correct.
George and I were engaged at the time.
Yeah.
Candace and I met in December of 2018, and we got engaged very quickly after 17 days.
As I was having this dinner with my husband and his friend, Andrew Tate was there. I had
See, look, 2019, right before the Strong Flu 19, right before the Strong Flu 19 kicked off in 2020. So this is him in 2019. There's her, and I think that's her husband, whoever the hell that dude is. But as you can see, like all of this is like prerequisite, pre-planned. You know what I mean? Then out of nowhere, they blow up with this extreme amount of wealth and money, and they got propaganda and news and followers and influence and all this stuff surrounded by them. But it's like, what are the chances you two motherfuckers linking up and having all this go on? And not just y'all two, but a bunch of other stuff that ties together. It's just weird when you look at the big picture.
no idea who he was. This is kind of before he really took off on the internet. I had my assistant at the time with me who happened to be Romanian. She's born in Romania, speaks Romanian, happened to have been in the United States. She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him, right? They were having a conversation. She comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago I stopped.
Andrew Tate is not hiding exactly who Andrew Tate was.
I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet.
If you're a guy and you...
Now, remember that the case that they're talking about, the one that the British or the UK is trying to get him on, was from 2010 to 2017. So that interview was 2023. If we go back 10 years ago, that's 2013. He said 8 or 9 years ago. So 2014, 2015. And then the stuff that the UK is on him on is about the years of 2010 to 2017. So maybe what he was doing back then that he's admitting to in the UK was probably on to him during that time. He was doing this stuff.
Hold citizenship in America or in the United Kingdom and you decide to uproot to Romania, it's got to be because you can do a little more dodgy stuff in Romania. Digging back 10 years.
Exactly.
I don't know who could survive that litmus test. Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago and you asked me about pornography, okay, this is 10 years ago. The content from 10 years ago is coming into play where they're saying, well, look, to even, they're conflating this now. So even though these charges are from, and I read the indictment again, 2021, look at what he said 10 years ago.
Everything from these old videos, old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the criminal case. Absolutely zero. Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
So I do want you to contextualize this video that has been circulating on the internet of you talking about the lover boy method. So we'll take a look at that right now.
Sure.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
So it's basically the PhD course is what he calls the pimp and hose degree. That's what he calls it. That's what the PhD process is. So this is him back then speaking on, the stuff he was doing back then. He's admitting to, and now the UK government is now trying to extradite him from crimes from 2010 to 2017. So this falls right in that time frame of like 2013, 14, 15, 2016 maybe, whatever that time frame is. So they're hitting him with stuff from the UK. They're trying to extradite him for that in UK, but he's also got that case that's still standing in Romania. And then in California, in the US and California, he's got that civil case. And then he's got that crypto thing going on too. So it's all this stuff happening at the same time, all together. So it's like, there's a genius about him at the same time, but then there's also a sick and twisted side to him at the same time. You know what I mean? There's a genius and there's a sick and twisted. You know what I mean? Because he has that narcissistic, sociopathic potential background could be added to him because of his father, who was a CIA. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, it's weird when you look at it all and how all of it comes into play. And then and ironically, Candace was saying that there was a woman from Romania who she was talking to. Was like, out of all places, the person that you were talking to was from Romania, the same place that he went to, and it seemed like he went to Romania to escape what he knew, what was going on in the UK. You know what I mean? So he could still kind of do the stuff he was doing over there in the UK, but over in Romania where he thought it was more laxed. Then he ends up getting trafficking and all these charges that were similar to the stuff that was going on in the UK. You know what I mean? So it's like you see all this stuff going on, but then at the same time, when you hear him speak and the stuff that he talks about, he's right on what he talks about as far as how the world and how the government and stuff is moving. He's right on what he says. But it's almost like this twisted sense of self. You know what I mean? It's like this twisted sense of self. It's hard to like put it all together. You know what I mean? It's like you make sense with what you're saying when it comes to worldly political views. But then when we look at what you do as far as like what you've done to, you know, the minors, it's like, bruh, no. Like, no. So you got yourself in hot water. But as far as, you know, the things that you've done, as far as the thing that they have out now, it's called something else. But the way he plastered himself all over the internet with having a bunch of people, basically he did like I don't want to say MLM, but he did like a very extremely genius way of having people that he created. So he created a school, a digital online school. In that school, you could promote his content and get paid off of the content that you promoted, and also get paid off of people that you recruited into his school. And you would get like almost like 45 or 50% of what you would make. So you would give back like a little bit over half, and you would keep the other half. So you were promoting his content and also keeping half of the about half of the money over his content that you were promoting. So that's why you saw him on so many different social media platforms. He had so many different social media accounts. He had a bunch on Twitter, a bunch on Instagram, a bunch on TikTok, a bunch on Facebook, because it was so many people pushing out his content, and the money he made from the content, he was giving people half of that. So he just had this huge web of just him being plastered all over the place, giving out this message, which is a genius idea. It was a phenomenal idea. Now they call it clipping or whatever. Now they call it clipping, and now they do it. You know, now he got in trouble for it, and all the social media platforms have kicked him off. You know, YouTube, maybe Twitch, Kick, Rumble, well, whatever the ones you want to call, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they all kicked him off. But they still use his method. They still use that method that he used to plaster himself all over the internet. The method that he created, that he came up with, they use that method now. It's just called clipping. So he changed the game when it comes to social media. So he has this genius about him when it comes to marketing and how good he is at speaking and talking. But then it's also that double-edged sword in the background. It's like when I showed you that CIA guy, this guy who was talking about how CIA officers, they admit that they actually recruit people with narcissistic and sociopathic traits. And his father used to be in the CIA. And he got discharged from the military for, what was it? Narcissistic personality disorder. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at these things, it makes you wonder. It's like, okay, so then when we watch his arrest video that we have right here, I guess I'm gonna finally show you the arrest video. But so when we look at his arrest video, and then we look at stuff like Operation Mockingbird, which was an attempt to manipulate, allegedly, an attempt to manipulate domestic American news and media organizations for propaganda purposes, which is right here. This was an alleged large-scale program of the U.S. CIA. All right. So when we see that and notice that, you know, he could potentially have a leg in that, not being a part of it, but like, you know, he has family ties background to it. Then you have to ask yourself, when you watch this video, is this video even real? Is this true? Here's the arrest video of him getting arrested by the U.S. Marshals. So these outfits are atrocious. These outfits are wild. Oh my goodness, these outfits are crazy. But that outfit is crazy work. These black tights and gold, that is a atrocious outfit. This is crazy. Now it's weird how everybody else is being pushed back, but somehow his homeboy is still able to help get his chain off. To me, that's a red flag. I would have been like, bro, sold me out, but that's just me. This don't make sense. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start this video over because I want to look at this from the beginning. So first things first, outfit number one. All right, so I guess they're walking up to him, but it's like the timing is so perfect. It's like, all right, ready and action. It's like he gets in a defense position. They get ready to arrest him. Now, first things I want to point out is you can't help but notice what is up with this right here. Once I saw this, I immediately assumed that this video was AI because this don't make no sense. Why is his foot cut off? Look at his foot. Half of his foot is cut off in this video. See what? This is who this stance, boy. Oh my goodness. His outfit is atrocious. And put on some socks, bro. It's disgusting to walk around with no socks. Stank ass. But just look. See, watch his feet. We're gonna see his foot gets cut off. Like this, there's no way to me that this video is 100% real. Because when you tie everything else that I've presented to you, to me now, this seems like a news media propaganda to control a narrative. And you got the perfect dude to do it. He has very strong influence. He has very strong influence. And now you see this foot thing here and it's like, well, is this AI? This is the perfect video to get people to believe AI videos. That's how I look at this. To me, I think this could potentially be an AI video. Because if you look right here, you see his foot. You know, we'll just zoom in on the foot. Zoom in on his damn foot. Right here, like look at the foot. Like his foot is all the way missing. It's like halfway missing. Look, here it is. Now watch it. Just watch. You see? That doesn't make any sense. He tries to hand dude his phone. Phone drops. Now his feet are good again. See, look, feet disappears, moves with the glitch. Somebody's gonna say it was a digital glitch or whatever. He tried to hand this guy the phone. If you pay attention right there, look, he tries to hand. Look, he grabs his phone, tries to hand it to security guard. Security guard ain't looking. Phone drops, and then pushes him back. Guy picks up the phone. So one of the U.S. Marshals grabs his phone that he tries to hand to him. Watch again. He reaches in his pocket and grabs his phone. Now, to me, would a U.S. Marshal let you reach in your pocket and grab something when they reach back and try to grab both of your hands? I don't know. But again, reaches in the pocket, grabs his phone, tries to hand it to dude. Dude ain't paying attention. It drops. They see it on the ground. He pushes the security guard back, and then he goes down to grab it. Now, the damn foot. This dude would be the perfect person to use AI on. And people would believe this if this is an AI video, which I would assume it is because of the damn foot. Because there's no way that you can explain this away. You can't explain that away. Like, you can't explain that away. I guess there's the phone that drops. Let's see if we do it in slow motion. Let's see. Let's keep going. So there's the phone that he drops right here. This guy puts his hand on his security guard's chest. This security guard he tried to hand it to. He pushes him back and reaches down, and then the marshal grabs the phone. But then his foot is still damn cut off, which I just don't understand that part. His foot is still cut off. So we're supposed to believe that this is not an AI video. We're supposed to believe that the CIA or the U.S. Marshals, I should say, they came in with their news media outlets and they're going to have shitty camera recording equipment. I'm just not believing that part. To me, this could be the perfect use of an AI video and to get people to believe AI footage. And then to control and spin a narrative of an AI video and then have everybody believe that this shit is real when it's probably not. This is my take on it. Again, I hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe this is real. If it is real and this is a digital glitch, then hey, slap me in the face. Or I'll slap my damn self. Don't touch me. But if this is a real situation, him and his brother really are in jail. That sucks. Cause I mean, ain't nothing fun about being in jail. Ain't nothing fun about going to court. Ain't nothing fun about dealing with freaking court cases and emails and all the money that he is about to dish out, especially dealing with it. Now that they got him in one place, I don't know if he's going to deal with court cases in all the other places as far as the UK, Romania, and back in the US, or if they just going to like hit him at the chopping block in the UK, because he was trying to get away from, clearly he was trying to get away from the UK. He didn't want to get extradited to the UK. He was trying his hardest to get away from there. Clearly. That's why he was in Romania. He tried to get away from the UK, but now the US taking his ass back to UK. So I look at this as this could be potentially a perfect outlet to use to have people believe the story that this man is really, going to jail. And this is a good time to use AI footage and to have people believe that it's real. And then to run the case, to run the story along with it, because he has a prior cases and all this stuff set up. And this is crazy. And then this dude, take him to jail for this outfit, bruh. Now he's trying to take off his chain. He's trying to help take off his chain or whatever. But he needs to also go to jail for this damn outfit and these pants being so damn tight. At least he got on socks though. So they push everybody else back. Everybody gets pushed back. Now, whose hand is this? I don't know what this is. This is weird. This is weird. So if you're recording, how are you recording? Here's one of your hands, but how is this even, how is this possible? If you're recording, look, are you recording with meta glasses? I see two hands right here. Look, I see a hand here and a hand here. Are you recording with your meta glasses and you're just looking down, potentially? Because the meta glasses do record pretty damn good, I might say. Maybe it could be some meta glasses that's recording. It could be. You never know. It really could be meta glasses that's doing the recording. So here's dude. Everybody gets pushed back, but his homeboy, this is Justin Waller, his homeboy is allowed to get close to him, take off his necklace, take off his chain and all this stuff. And everybody else is being pushed back. Nobody is around him except for his homeboy, Justin Waller, which, you would at that point believe, like, what's his name? What's the name of that movie? In Too Deep? Remember the movie In Too Deep with LL Cool J and Omar Epps? You know what I mean? There wasn't no way you was getting close to LL Cool J at the end of the video unless you was in on the interrogation, or unless you was in on the hit with the police officers or the feds or whatever. Because look, ain't nobody else around him except for his homeboy Justin Waller. They're allowing him to take his chain off. They're allowing him to stand close by and all this stuff. He just handed something off to somebody else. He's still over there, quiet as kept, taking his sweet ass time. It's just weird watching this. To me, this doesn't make any sense. And when you put all the other pieces together with the CIA stuff and controlling propaganda with the previous operation, and when you look at the Operation Mockingbird, this alleged thing that allegedly didn't happen, it began in the early years of the Cold War. Now, right now, we're dealing with war right now. You know what I mean? We're dealing with a war right now. And it's like almost around the same time. And instead of using journalists, we got influencers. You can use influencers into a propaganda network and influence the operations of front groups. So you can use this for propaganda purposes, but it's a perfect time to utilize this for the use of AI. You know what I mean? This is a perfect opportunity to use it for AI. So there's two ways that this could happen. He could really be in jail, or this clip was AI with the whole foot thing that was cut off halfway. We can go both ways with it. Because now you see that his father has ties to CIA, or had ties to CIA. He was great at linguistics, spoke Russian and Spanish, and then he was discharged for, it could be in a good way or a bad way, for narcissistic personality disorder. Then we had a CIA person tell you that they recruit people who have narcissistic sociopathic traits. So it just kind of falls right in line. Then he has a history in the background. Then all of the stuff that he's dealing with, as far as his charges go, is like pimping and minor and human trafficking related. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff is all these things are in a sense related. Now, speaking of trafficking, there's a particular lady I wanted to show real quick. And this lady, she was a Russian spy. I found this and I thought this was interesting. I want you to see this. All right. Let me see. I don't know what order to do this in. I got to figure out the order to put this in. Okay, this will be a great one. So here we go right here. I found this video, all right? First, I'm gonna show you the picture of the lady. This is a former Russian spy who spent years seducing foreign agents, and now she's revealed tips and secrets for women to get exactly what they want. So here's the sexy Russian spy who used to be a Russian spy, right? So here is her in her spy days, and here is who she is now. All right. Aliyah Rosa, 39, was born behind the Iron Curtain in Kazakhstan and became a spy for the Russian government following the fall of the Soviet Union. Her top secret mission saw her become an expert on psychology of men, right? Soon the female James Bond, she describes herself, found herself dishing out details on how to bag any man in a $200 an hour course, and now she makes $1.5 million a year. She has an army of 2,000 members who are hoping to learn the tricks of the trade. She claims her members learn how to get whatever they want and says the Super Lady subscription offers them access to exclusive red carpet events. Wow. Okay. So you can look at this and you can kind of think about this in a sense of the same category of what Tate's going through in a sense, but not the same way. This could be looked at in a sense of how Tate was angry earlier saying how he wanted to dismantle and take down feminism. Tate could be the takedown of the visual of masculinity. And then this could be turned around and used as the rise of the feminist movement. Because they're using him to go down for pimping and trafficking and minors. And then you're looking at her, who was a former Russian spy, which in a sense you could tie that in with the same category of what, Tate's father was dealing with, in a sense. Now, and it's showing her as she's a super lady. She's the female James Bond. She can bag any man she wants. She's got a $200 an hour course, and she's showing other women how to basically get anything out of men. So it's showing how to dismantle the man and to uplift the woman using damn near the same agents or the same organizations to promote the same agenda. To take down the masculine and to uplift the feminist. She said, both my mother and father were part of Soviet secret services. So I guess it was natural for me to go into it. They taught me everything about spying, how to walk, how to put on makeup, and most importantly, how to understand the psychology of men. It's like being a female James Bond. They created charisma, our aura, and taught us the best techniques to seduce people. All these techniques I have since adapted into my daily life. Whether you are overweight, short, or whatever it is, it's all about charisma. The best thing you can do is stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself every day, and find 5 features that you like about yourself. It don't matter what it is. It could be a facial feature or even feet or hands. It's like tricking your brain into thinking I'm a goddess, which is literally what we see on a daily-to-daily basis. Now, let's hear her talk. This is going to get interesting. Now let's listen to her. Now we just saw using somebody, the top G, Andrew Tate, the head of the, manosphere, the pimping and all that stuff, but also speaks very strategically about going against feminism. They're trying to take him down. because he influences young boys and teenagers, and sometimes the boys don't want to listen to their teachers in school because, you know, the teachers be on some bullshit because they're trying to feminize the boys. So he has that influence of the young men and trying to bring back masculinity in the men. But now you got the flip side of it. You have a woman over here who practically is doing the same thing he's doing to an extent. It's she's teaching women how to get money out of men, but not necessarily calling it pimping. Listen to how she explains this. She says this Russian spy training got darker. She was a shy, nerdy girl. She was a virgin teenager. She gets a fake emergency call from her dad, shows up to the apartment, and her commanders rape her in her first 2 weeks. This is part of the training. They ran a train so she learned to have zero emotional attachments to future targets. Desecrate the body, break the mind, weaponize the vagina. Classic Russian intel. Podcast went full nightmare. We gotta hear this. All right, so listen to this. Listen to this. And just pay attention. Here we go.
When did it start getting very dark for you inside? Like, when did you start getting raped?
I came to the department, right? My first department, literally in 2 weeks, I was raped, and it was a total setup. My father, after receiving a call about alarm in the cities, he literally said to me, oh, you have to go to your department, and it was 8 p.m. because your colleague just called me. At that time, we didn't have smartphones. Of course, I was a teenager. I came to the department, and there were like a few agents, my commanders literally like took advantage of me being, first of all, virgin.
Was it more than one man who did it?
Yes.
At the same time?
No, the first time it was one man, and then after it was like basically the whole department. I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't know anything about relationship with men. I was nerdish, shy girl, and then this just happened in my life, and I didn't even know how to accept it. But then they told me this is part of the training. They dissociate your body from your emotions, where as a future female agent of sex espionage, you would never have any attachments to your target.
Well, okay, as we see there, we see that this is a very uprooting and uplifting ideology for this side of the field. So you see on one side of the field, it's being taken, the masculine side is being taken down. On the opposite side, on the feminist side, the woman's side is being lifted up. It's weaponizing the female against the male and completely desensitizing her and detaching the emotional or the consciousness of the woman from the man completely. So now she's an agent, she's a worker, she's a demon, she's being uplifted. And the other side is being demonized. I mean, they're both wrong. But as you can see, it's the destroyer of the masculine in one way and the rise of the feminist in another way. Not feminine, feminist in the other way. Let's let her keep talking because she has some other things. Now, it gets deeper because now she also speaks on how she unalived her first target. Sorry, so check this out. She's going to speak on how she basically whacked her first target. So let's listen to how she speaks on this situation where she actually had to have intercourse working as a spy. Here we go.
My first mission where I had sex, it was that guy from the Russian bonnet. But he was kind of cool. He was young, very sexy criminal. Unfortunately, he died. So the mission was for me to actually get to his body because he always had security and a lot of people around him. And basically my team would finish him and I just had to get closer to him as much as I could.
And then you would communicate with your team to come in?
Yeah, they were following us and waiting for us. So basically I was in the club pretending that I'm like, not like particular prostitute, but one of the like go girls, easy, like, oh, let's have fun, let's have drugs, blah, 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 and let's have sex. This sort of women. And I picked him up from the club, yet he was with the enormous amount of beautiful girls and all that, and I had to do it. So I picked him up, we went to the sauna, which is like Russian saunas. Right. They have rooms and they have saunas and they have massage. And when he was like in his very bliss moment or whatever, I let my team in and they basically finished the whole operation. My first mission where
All right. Well, so she let the whole team in who was basically on her side, and they went in and they finished the job. So they basically whacked homeboy. So they whacked him. So as you can see, this is a rise. Now,
his father, Amory Andrew.
Whoops, I didn't even click on that one. Now,
So is that
to further this, let me see if I can find her thing. I can't find it, can I? No, I cannot find it, but I should be able to find it from here. Where is it? Here it is right here. So just to show you, you know what I mean? She has a huge following. Huge following. 1.1 million followers. And look, she's pushed to the very top. You know? What she does is amazing. She has the honey trap. What is the honey trap? Secret intelligence tactics. That's what this is called. What is the honey trap? Secret intelligence tactics. So you see, it's like the masculine side had the same concept, but that one is being taken, the masculine side is being taken down. And now the feminist side is using the same tactics, the same tactics, but because she's being an agent for the side, she's being uplifted. Now, again, Tate could still be an agent as well. We don't know. We don't know exactly how it works because it's hard to tell the truth on what's what. But as you can see, you know, her whole thing right here shows that, you know, she's being uplifted. She, you know, doing very good, successful red carpet moments, everything. Successful career after the fact. I think she's like 40 years old now. You know what I mean? She's like she's like 40 years old now. So now she's living a great life after doing everything. And let's hear one more to see how good she is at what she does. Let's take a look at one more clip on how good she is at being the spy that she was. So here we go.
the perfect spy blowjob. That's one of the most important skill any woman can have. There are like many techniques, but one of the most important is deep throat technique is one of the most desirable thing any man want to have. There's certain things you have to know before actually doing it, otherwise it will be painful for man. Also it can be painful for your throat. There are techniques to learn before doing that, because otherwise your husband would hate it. So when you do it, try it maybe at least on a banana or even like plastic dildo, because like before performing on human body. Because it can be really painful. So it has to go on top of your mouth. And at the same time, you do like breathe in and then you swallow it.
Okay, I'll just stop it right there on that one. So as you clearly see, as long as you're working, as long as you're working for the higher ups, I should say, everything's golden. Now, it could be golden on both sides. Tate just might be playing the game and getting his bag and doing a propaganda thing, or maybe he is being a martyr and trying to fight this thing out. We don't know. We don't know. But as you can see, clearly, like, this is how this is going down.
True. Absolutely.
And even all the way to, like, Bollywood, she even has, you know, supporters on this side.
Before you target any person, the target has to look at the agent at least 7 times. So is that true?
Absolutely.
How does this work? Tell me, please.
Social engineering, that's the term. It's when the team installing different objects, events around the target.
Different scenarios.
Yes. Okay. So they guide the target to make a decision they want him to do.
So how is this any different from like women in today's society providing OnlyFans content or doing any kind of sex work whatsoever, utilizing these tips and drills and then implementing those on younger men growing up, or even try to do it to older men, or whatever the case may be, to try to guide them and push them into a political decision or a ideology that they want to press forward? How is what she's talking about any different, pressing on the women of today's modern women culture? How is what she's saying any different? You can utilize this to all OnlyFans, all fanslies, all escort websites you can teach this game to all women that you're dealing with, and they can all come out on the other end with the same ideology and the same mindset of being extremely numb, focusing on the target, detaching the body from the mind, and having a targeted goal and agenda to pursue and to move forward with. And it's the agenda to, destroy masculinity, which we see Andrew Tate seems like he's taking the brunt force of it right now since he's the good speaker. And you have somebody like her who has been elevated and lifted, who is basically like a madame in a situation working for that side. As you can see, it's clear as day, and at the end of the day, it's not hard to see. And then if you take the video footage from Andrew Tate, could it have been real footage and he's really in jail going on now? Or was it AI footage because the little foot thing showed that the clip could have just not been real, but it was a perfect video footage for you to believe that the AI footage was real, to move forward, to now put out AI footage to control a narrative of a story that don't even exist. Like, just think about this. You know what I mean? I just want to bring this particular Tate thing to your attention because everybody had their way of looking at it, and I got mine. And there's plenty of ways you can look at it. And when you put everything together, at the end of the day, my message I try to convey to you is take care of yourself first and foremost. Stay on your fitness at all times. Always work out. Find a combat sport to train into. Eat healthy, pray, meditate, and fast. Stay prayed up at all times. Read your word. Find your purpose, stay focused on a goal, and just drill it in religiously every single day like a routine that nobody can deviate you from. And keep doing it. Stick with nature regardless of how far in this life that we go and how far technology goes and how far technology gets. Stick to nature. Find a way. Grow your own food. Do the best and right things that you can. Don't let nobody put anything inside of your body. Try to control what you eat. Learn how to cook. Know how to cook. Stay away from, just keep yourself away from bullshit. Try to keep your name clean. We are not perfect by any means necessary, but don't go the path that is full of technology. It's like a yin and a yang. Have a balance and understand how to balance it, but stick to nature. Give back to Mother Earth. Plant fruits, plant vegetables, plant trees, stick with nature, regardless of how far and how hard things get. When you're given a choice, stay the course of nature. Get back to nature and stay rooted and stay focused in your belief systems and your God that you believe in. Or the only guy that has created everything of the whole universe, because you got other guys that try to exalt themselves as God, but they not God. They demigods, they false gods. Stay true to the creator of all things. And nature is that answer. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed my take on this Andrew Tate situation. That's all I got to say for today. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day. We'll be back in here maybe tomorrow for another one. I got stuff I got to do tomorrow, so we might be able to get it in tomorrow. Maybe I could do another one tonight. We'll see how things go. But with that being said, I will catch y'all on the next one tomorrow, the day after, and we'll see y'all later. Take care, love you, and peace.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness live stream. Goodbye.
The game